Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and we got an interesting Chromebox to look at today. This one from Lenovo. They call this the Chromebox Micro, and it is an Intel-based Chromebox that is in a relatively small form factor, and you've got VESA mounts here where you can just stick it in the back of your display. We're going to take a closer look at what this little computer is all about in just a second, but I do want to let you know, in the interest of full disclosure, this is on loan from Lenovo. So when we're done with this, it goes back to them. All the opinions you're about to hear are my own. No one is paying for this review, nor has anyone reviewed or approved what you're about to see before it was uploaded. So let's get into it now and see what this Chromebox is all about. Now, the price point on this comes in at around $379. In my humble opinion, the price point right now is a bit too high for what it is. I would expect something like this to cost around $200, give or take, given what we are currently seeing in the mini PC market and what this thing has on board for hardware. Now, this does not come with a keyboard or a mouse, so you have to add those in, and a display, of course. And they're marketing this as an enterprise device, and in some of the marketing, they're talking about this being useful for digital signage or digital kiosks that you might have set up at a store or an institution or something like that. In fact, when you first boot it up, it will ask for your commercial enterprise Google account, and I was able to get my personal account logged in just fine. So if you do see that screen when you get it, don't be turned off by it. You can very easily bypass the commercial login and use your personal one. Now, this has an Intel N4500 processor on board. It has 8 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, and unfortunately only 32 gigabytes of eMMC storage. None of it is upgradable either. So the storage is a bit limited, especially if you run a lot of Linux or Android apps in your Chrome environment. But otherwise, I think as a basic Chromebox that is doing the basics, this is probably an adequate configuration. I was very pleased, though, with the port selection on this, especially given the functionality of the ports that it has. So here is a USB-C port, and if you are hooking this up the normal way, you would just plug the included power adapter in there. However, I connected this up to my docking station a little bit earlier, and when I did that, it was able to get video out to a display. It was able to get its power through the dock, and all the dock's ports, including its Ethernet port, lit up and were useful. So you could get this thing going with a single cable. In fact, there are some monitors out there that allow you to power the computer and get the video out with just that one cable, and you're good to go. So that's pretty cool. You do have to add your own keyboard and mouse to the mix here because it does not come in the box. So be aware of that when you are shopping. And you can use one of these two USB ports for that. Now, there's another USB-C port on here, and to my surprise, this one also worked for video output. And then I was able to connect a third display to the HDMI output here. Now, given the hardware on board, this is mostly a 1080p or a 1440p device. So if you are looking to do something with 4K, this is not the machine for you, primarily because the 4K output is limited to only 30 frames per second through the HDMI. But at 1080p, if you're getting a cheap display hooked up to this or a TV or something, it's fine, and it will perform adequately with that. Additionally, you have an audio output / microphone input right here, and you've got gigabit Ethernet. And of course, it also has a Wi-Fi and Bluetooth radio on board, and it will support Wi-Fi 6 in case you don't have an Ethernet port near where you're installing this. Let me get this thing hooked up, and let's see how it performs. All right, let's begin with a little web browsing here. We'll load up my favorite website, nasa.gov, and see how fast everything comes to life here. And as you can see, it all springs to life pretty quickly here with no real issues rendering things in. I did a little work in Google Docs a little bit earlier, and that seemed to work just fine. As you can see, videos spin up here pretty quickly as well. So if you are putting this into an enterprise environment where a lot of what is being done in the browser, I think you're going to be fine here. Just be sure to keep the number of tabs open at a minimum, just because we don't have all that much RAM to play with. Now, a little bit earlier, I loaded up my YouTube channel and played back a 4K 60 frames per second video. It did drop a couple of frames here or there, but nothing that was all that noticeable. So you might notice a frame drop once in a while, but I think for media playback, it's going to do just fine. Now, one thing to note on these Chrome devices is that you can download the Android version of Netflix, for example, but the videos from the Android version of Netflix won't run at the full resolution of the display that you're connected to. So my advice would be to access Netflix and Disney Plus and all the other popular streaming services through the browser and not through the Android app, because the Android apps don't support the DRM to go to high definition. I did run a benchmark a little bit earlier, the Browserbench.org speedometer test, and there we got a score of 90.2 on version 2.0 of that test. As you can see, the current generation of this family of Intel processors does a lot better, and you will likely find a Windows Mini PC that performs that much better at a much lower price. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at the price point on this versus some of the other choices that are out there. Let's take a look at how it handles Android apps now. Now, like all modern Chrome OS devices, this will have the Google Play Store on board, and we're running a game here called Horizon Chase. It seems to be running just fine with no noticeable hiccups here. I am recording at 30 frames per second, but this is running at 60, so my display here looks a little better. So for casual Android games, it's going to be fine. For basic Android apps, it'll be fine. Some of the more demanding games won't run very well on here. Call of Duty, for example, just doesn't like Intel processors, and although it'll install, it'll probably crash on you. And you might find some other Android apps that don't run as well on the Intel hardware. But again, for the basics, it's going to be fine. You can grab a lot of the apps that you might already have installed on your phone and get them to boot up here on your Chromebox. Now, another gaming option is game streaming from services like Xbox Cloud Gaming, which is what I'm doing here. So you can run games like Starfield if you stream them from Microsoft servers. If you are a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, there's services like GeForce Now that also work pretty well with this too. And of course, the game controllers are compatible. Like the other option with Netflix, you do have the ability to run these streaming apps in the browser, which sometimes might be a better option, or through their Android apps. But either way, game streaming seems like it's working quite well here. Now, like other Chrome OS devices, you can run Linux applications on here after you enable Linux in the settings. And once you get it installed, you get yourself a command line here where you can install applications. A little bit earlier, I installed LibreOffice, which is a great open source Office suite where you get a spreadsheet, a word processor, and a few other apps. And what's nice about this is that everything runs locally on your Chrome OS device, including file storage. So none of this stuff goes to the cloud, and you can run graphical applications like this or terminal applications. You can do some development work, get Python going, all sorts of cool things that I think greatly extend the usability of a Chrome OS device. Additionally, you can have all this stuff running together. So I've got a Linux app up here. I can then load up an Android app here, for example, and do some Android work, and at the same time have the native Chrome OS browser running alongside with it. So you do, of course, have to keep that memory under consideration. We only have about 8 gigs to play with here, but all this stuff really plays well together, and things have really become a lot more mature on the Chrome OS platform, especially when it comes to Linux and Android apps. So overall, this is a pretty decent Chrome OS desktop if you are in the market for such a thing. It's relatively compact, it's silent, you could hide it on the back of your monitor there with the VESA mount, and you're good to go. I do like the flexibility that they brought with these USB-C ports. I'm not crazy about the price, but beyond that, I think it's a very nice little Chrome OS desktop. Just don't expect much from it. That's going to do it for now. Until next time, this is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching.
This channel is brought to you by the Lon.TV supporters, including gold level supporters Brian Parker, Budley, Hot Sauce and Video Games, Steve Green, and Amda Brown. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to lon.tv/support to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit Lon.TV/S.